Welcome, everyone. It's a great pleasure to host the VTT LaunchPad meet and greets in the Future Hub. After a couple of years break, I realized that since 2019, since the founding of VTT LaunchPad, we've been hosting the meet and greet event. So it's already the sixth one, pretty established. A couple of years we did it together with Nordeep. And now this time around we thought, hey, let's try it again at our own premises. And quite a nice lineup. Wonderful to have you all here. I'll talk a little bit about VTT LaunchPad to begin with, and then we get to dive into the proper juicy content of all the pitches from the incubator. Great. So VTT LaunchPad, what is it? It's the spin-off incubator from the Technical Research Center of Finland. And why we exist is to develop great impact by spinning off well-funded companies. So our reason to exist is to create impact. And if we look at VTT altogether and why VTT exists as a technical research center, it is to solve world's biggest challenges by bringing together business, science, technology, and thereby create sustainable growth and well-being. And so at VTT, we really believe that when you bring together exceptional business ideas that are really backed by science, you can create great innovation. So as you all know, startups are really the ones that can create this revolutionary impact and change in society and industry. So in order to bring that radical change, science startups are a very powerful way of doing that. And now we've been looking at, if you look at VTT, of course, founded in 1942, so it's been spinning off companies for decades. So by our count, in the last some decades, 60+ companies have spun off. And so been really curious about, we've been really curious about the kind of, how well they are equipped for creating that impact of change. And one proxy for that is the funding that they attract. And it's interesting, of course, to look at the, on the Finnish national scale, if you look at the companies altogether in Finland, startups raising funding on 5-year average, VTT spin-offs have been attracting 8.5% of all of that capital funding. So during that last 5 years, it was 28 companies that did fundraising or managed to raise those funds, to be more precise. So that talks of some things. One thing is that they're pretty high quality in that sense, that they actually manage to do that. And then we can see some outliers where you see really large investments going into some companies, where they are aiming for that scaling or putting up production plants or so forth. So I think, this is something that we can celebrate as a success. So really proud to talk about this. And, another thing that I'm really proud to talk about is, Financial Times did, for the first time this year, study into the leading startup hubs of Europe. And I'm really happy to be able to, talk about VTT LaunchPad being on that list, I was a little bit reluctant first to put a submission in because I thought, well, spin off 2 or 3 companies a year, so how are we going to fare against all these massive hubs that, and accelerators and so forth. But it was worth doing it. And some of the ratings were, what they did, they of course looked at, how the spin-offs are kind of answering a survey, and then they did interviews, but they also asked the ecosystem, like investors, for example, prominent investors, what they thought of us. So really happy to have us there, very proud. Good. So looking then, a little bit more, at the past 5 years, it's nice finally we have some data, because I'm like, look, if we spin off 2 or 3 a year, there's not much to talk about. But looking, 5.5 years back, now we have already a nice lineup of funded spin-off companies. So I'm really proud to kind of show this and, show the diversity of so many different kinds of companies that have spun off through VTT LaunchPad. Of course, VTT does technology investments into also other growth companies. So there are other ones that we have also collaborated with in depth. So some news, 2 slides about news. The first one, as many of you know, we have hosted in past also external accelerator programs, like the EIT Food Accelerator Network for the New Nordics. So we do this in strategically selected industries. So another topical one is, of course, the dual-use side. And there, we're proud to announce that we're part of the Diana Accelerator Network, and we'll be delivering that accelerator program in future. So concluding now with the other thing that I'm really happy to talk about is that the team has grown significantly, which is great, because now we have much more resources to devote to our activities and bring them to the next level. So something, some noteworthy things, we have Rasmus Basilier, who just joined 6 weeks ago. Rasmus, he's waving his hand over there. So he's the one responsible for the NATO Diana and other dual-use type of acceleration exploration. So please talk with him if you're interested in the topic. And then, Laura Lappalainen has probably been in contact with many of you. Laura also there, waving her hand, coordinator in our team, responsible for a lot of the communications and event organization. So maybe I'll conclude with this. You can find out more at the well-known website vttlaunchpad.fi. You can scan the QR code with your phone if you weren't familiar with that. And now I'd like to turn to our pitching event. So we have 7 teams pitching this evening or afternoon, and they each have a maximum of 7 minutes. It's a rather long pitch, but as they are science-based, it's fair to give them that sufficient time to actually give you an opportunity to know what they're doing. And then we have Harry Santamäki and Paavo Räisänen here, who have the first opportunity to pose questions and put them to the spot on what they're really up to. And in addition to them, the audience will also have an opportunity to ask questions. And that time slot is altogether 5 minutes. So we hope to roll forward in 12 minutes pace through the teams. Yes. So I'd like to introduce the first team. Paula Viinamäki will be presenting Granarium. And Granarium revolutionizes electricity storages with 100% renewable supercapacitor. That's always a mouthful, supercapacitor. And another word in Finnish, so you always have to kind of think which one you're using. And it's sustainable, cost-efficient, and scalable. So you have a prototype finally ready. Yes. That we're so thrilled about. And they're actively seeking funding, so please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, slides are functioning, and I guess the mic as well. So, hi all, I'm Paula from Granarium. The ongoing revolution in energy production is causing problems. The currently available power grid is not sufficient enough to keep the power system in balance. Therefore, electricity storage solutions, different types of, are needed in addition urgently. Electricity storage solutions are the most cost-efficient and easiest way to strengthen the grid. Batteries are for the situations where large amounts of energy is needed, while supercapacitors are for the situations where high power is needed for the very short moments. So both of these solutions are needed to really keep the power system in balance. However, currently available electricity storage solutions consume non-sustainable, scarce and unethical materials. And that's where Granarium steps in. Our solution uses only renewable materials. To put it super simple, we need cellulose, carbon and water. And we can build a supercapacitor made of 100% renewable materials. High consistency nanocellulose is our unique material component. It can bind different types of biocarbons that can store electricity. It will simplify and change the traditional way supercapacitors are manufactured, the whole process. And it will enable low-cost production. Yet the performance of our solution is on the same level as similar type of solutions using non-sustainable mined materials. Furthermore, we'll have infinite supply of sustainable renewable materials, locally global, and therefore we can actually establish our production almost anywhere. Okay. We'll have great benefits in our solution. Like others, it will provide seconds to minutes operating time in fast cycles. And it's not aging like the batteries. In addition, we'll have a low self-discharge. And that's a unique specialty of our solution. That means that our solution does not lose energy like the others. So that makes the operation even more cost efficient. The technology will have a proof of concept, and we have validated and tested our solution against customer requirements. Our go-to-market solution is an electricity grid stabilizer. It will provide fast-scale, fast production for the energy production systems. It will stabilize the production interruptions and voltage fluctuations that last from seconds to minutes. And it can provide also backup power during supply fails of windmills or solar power plants, or even ramp up the processes. Now, with the commercial, with the pilots, we want to really optimize with the first small pilots our solution in a real customer environment with the real paying customers. With the first pilot, it will handle the small scale fluctuation in a grid and provides us a fast learning curve, and even faster than we have been anticipating previously. So by the end of the year is the first one. As a investment, so we claim that our pilot production is 1/5 lower investment than the traditional supercapacitor production. And it will provide a range of versatile solutions to meet our customer requirements. And we are talking about megatrend, and the market is growing as we speak. As a team, we'll have a strong experience. Vesa, Otto-Ville and myself, so from the bio-based materials, processing and developing them, and upscaling the production, leading world-class products as well as experiences, startups and innovations. And there's even 20+ patents in the team. We have been strengthening our team with the Arash, so he's here as well. So, and he brings us a power electronics skills as well as system design and the programming skills. Our advisors, they bring us a extremely great knowledge and understanding from the energy industry, and they have made their own startup journeys, like Tatu and Herkko. Now, where are we? We have reached the spin-off maturity. The technology is proven. We have validated that against the customer requirements. We know that we can develop our solution cost efficiently and environmentally friendly. And we have validated and secured our critical material components as well as equipment for the pilot production. We have signed first letter of intent with the commercial customer to deliver for them by the end of the year. So we are ready to spin out, and we might change the colors as well. So this is a VTT color. What we are missing from this equation are the investors, committed investors, and we are looking for 2 million seed funding, and the investors who are as excited as we are about changing the way electricity is made and stored. To sum up, I have still a few minutes. We can build a supercapacitor made of 100% renewable materials. We'll have infinite supply of the raw materials that enable local, responsible and self-sufficient production. Our solution, the material characteristics, is easy to integrate and it makes it modular. The production is simple and low cost, and we provide fast seconds to minutes operating time where that's enough. And our solution is safe and secure. We do not need any harmful chemicals, no safety facilities and production. So you can safely integrate that even inside this building. Thank you. Looking forward to your questions. And Otto Mille might join with us in the floor because he brings the technology, and we need to, of course, have the science here too.
Okay, so thanks. So you were telling that you have a simple and low-cost solution. So how much your customers can potentially save compared to the alternatives? What is the value creation?
Well, at the moment we are at the same cost level as the competing solutions, but in the future we hope to lower the price by something like 50%. Of course, we want to take that as our money, not for the customer.
So it's really about the process development. Obviously, getting started. So what's the way how we go to market? We are well in the par, and what we have been testing and measuring that. And then again, like we'll have the roadmap how we know how we are able to squeeze the price.
Did you originally consider other alternatives to this go-to-market strategy instead of building your own product and competing against the market leaders, whoever they are, that you would be providing solution for all the industry and you would become like the key supplier to all players existing out there?
I might take first this. So this is interesting because we have been discussing a lot with the different types of from grid operators to system integrators, all the different parties there. And basically what we are building is the cell and modular level from there. And this is something what we are going to negotiate with our customers as well. So what level they are going to build and us, and we need their system integrators as well. So cell and the modularity from there is our beef. And then once again, how beautiful package we actually built there. We need the system integration for the customers, nonetheless. And that's what some of the customers have been even requesting from us. So would we be able to standardize our solution? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else on that?
Second question. How much there is planning or ideas in the air, that regulation would help you guys. That after you introducing your technology, regulators would say, hey, you have to move to this direction.
That's what we are expecting, and we believe seriously that this world needs to change, and we need all the solutions. It's like electric vehicles; you'll have a transition phases, and again, like we are able to build a different types of portfolios from the product. So, and the beautiful thing was that we were able to realize that we can actually do super small scale the first pilot.
Thank you very much.
There's one question.
One more question.
The
Yes.
discharge time, it probably restricts the market. So what is the number for the discharge time?
Time or cycle number? Sorry.
Discharge time.
How long the battery stays as a battery, can hold the energy?
Well, days. Typical supercapacitors, they discharge in a couple of hours or one day, but ours is 10 times better in the self-discharge than the current ones.
And that was one of the uniqueness, what we found out while we were actually developing our solution. So that's unique for us.
Have you ever considered other business models? Instead of selling in hardware packages, you would not sell these devices to anyone, but you would sell storage per hour or per megawatt or whatever.
That's interesting aspect, and yes, that would be potentially one of the options. So basically, I would say so that with the pilots we need to learn about where we are going and how the business model will actually change as well. Licensing eventually will be most likely one of the directions as well. And then again, like we'll have a potential to go in a different type of solutions as well because of the characteristics of the material itself.
Great. Thank you very much. Next up, maybe they changed the slides over there. Yes. No. Very good. We have, while we're waiting for the next slide to come up, Olli Himanen from PEMEL team. PEMEL is modernizing green hydrogen production by creating modular PEM electrolyzer systems. And they are currently raising funding.
Okay, good afternoon. So my name is Olli Himanen from Team PEMEL, and we are transforming current hydrogen hype into a profitable business. So what does hydrogen hype mean? It means that there is lots of talking, but projects are not proceeding and companies are not investing into green hydrogen technology. This is mainly because there are no turnkey solutions available for green hydrogen production. And this means that projects are complex, they are time consuming, and they are very expensive for the customers. Our solution is a turnkey modular electrolyzer system for green hydrogen production. Our system is designed for mass production and for dynamic operation so that it can be powered by wind or solar energy. We have also developed our own novel automation software platform to optimize system operation. Our customers, or our solution provides for our customers up to 70% reduction in investment costs. Then customers can save up to 35% in the total hydrogen production costs. And very important thing is that the project implementation time can be 10 times faster than with the current solutions. We are targeting the European markets, and there are no companies in Europe who would provide this kind of turnkey solutions for green hydrogen related projects. This means that all the companies, they have to design and build the green hydrogen plants by themselves. Every green hydrogen plant is a one-off project, meaning that the companies, they are wasting their time, money and resources. We are located in the central part of the green hydrogen related ecosystem. Our products are turnkey electrolyzer systems for green hydrogen production, and we will collaborate with leading supply and delivery partners to serve our customers. Currently, less than 1% of hydrogen that is used globally is actually green. Rest is fossil fuel based. And like you mentioned, regulation in Europe and globally will force companies to use green hydrogen in the future. And this market will be hundreds of billions of euros. Our team, we have 3 members in the core team, me and Kai. We are experts in hydrogen technology and hydrogen related systems. And Paul, where is Paul? There. Paul is expert, has long experience in business development and from startups. Kai is actually right now operating our system, but me and Paul are here to talk with you. Current status, our prototype system is currently up and running. We have so far invested more than 2 million euros into that system and related technology. There are 3 customers who are interested on that prototype system. Then our larger commercial turnkey electrolyzer system concept is ready, and we have 5 letter of intents from customers for that larger system, and many requests for a quotation. So next, we are raising 3 million euros to design and manufacture our second generation commercial system, for which we have already 5 committed customers and 10 in the pipeline. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So can you tell a bit more about the customers that you have currently lined up, what type of companies they are, and what is kind of the deal sizes that you are planning to make with them in the beginning, and what is kind of the total potential in the future?
Yes, we have customers or letter of intents from different customer segments. There are companies who are currently using, for example, refineries, then biofuels, and companies who are currently, for example, using natural gas to heat up their process, they are burning natural gas, and that kind of companies. So different segments. We are not fixed to one certain segment. Companies are typically pretty large.
And what is the total potential in these customers? Like if you will be there, they will select you as the main supplier for the coming years.
I think we could maybe discuss about that during the break, so that Paul is supporting me. But definitely tens of millions of euros.
Question about competition, because it has been said that Finland is ideal place for this kind of operations. But I expect that you are not alone. There must be a lot of competition, at least building up. Could you a little bit highlight your competitive position?
Yes, very good. So Finland is a very good place for example, electrolyzer operation. We have a cheap electricity, clean electricity, many companies who are utilizing hydrogen. Then about the competition, yes, there are many companies in Europe and globally who are manufacturing electrolyzers. But the current situation is that they are more like a Lego sets for the customers. They need to actually design the actual whole system. They get the components or some of the components from the electrolyzer company. Then they typically need to buy, for example, power electronics. They need to buy compressor. They need to buy this and that. So they need to actually design their own system. And that's where we are, what we are now solving.
Okay, I think we can just wish you all the best. But still, I would like to kick the tires, if you will, because there's an old saying in ice hockey. Gretzky used to say that I'm not going there where the puck is. I'm going there where the puck is going to be next. So I'm just thinking what's going to happen next in this domain. I have seen some companies to think that they convert back the hydrogen to electricity. So electricity in, electricity out. So it's like a storage. So do you think that it's possible to develop a small package? So I could buy my summer house, this kind of package with my solar cells and get, off the grid.
Yes, that's technically very easily possible, and that's what we have already in our labs. We have that kind of small kilowatt scale electrolyzer systems. We have hydrogen storages. We have fuel cell systems. But I think that's there are also other ways to store electricity. Supercapacitors, batteries. So I think that currently they are more competitive in terms of cost. But hydrogen technology, yes, it's definitely possible. But I personally believe that it will be that kind of energy storage aspect in industrial scale.
And what is kind of the main innovation in your solution compared to the alternatives? And do you have some IP that you can protect?
Yes, we have trade secrets related to electrolyzer system layout, and it's let's say optimized way to operate it. Then like we have this kind of new business model, so that we are providing that kind of complete packages for our customers, which no company is currently doing.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So, next we continue, still on the hydrogen theme. We have Erkki Helen from Team HYGRON. He will tell us about the environmentally friendly membrane technology that delivers more power from the next generation of hydrogen fuel cells. The team is the latest comer in our team, joined us over the summer. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Lotta. So HYGRON membranes will make trucks run and planes fly with hydrogen. And why would you care about it? Or why should we care about it? For me personally, it's my children. And I think you might have your children or even grandchildren. And I personally believe that we all should do our best to ensure that we leave the planet to them in a condition that is nowadays or even better. And the greenhouse gas emissions are the one here, and 20% is coming from the transport sector. We already have their solutions for the passenger cars, so the electric vehicles are coming. That is great. However, the batteries won't be the solution for heavy transportation. Will it be trucks? Will it be ships? Will it be airplanes? The basic reason is that the batteries are just too heavy. So they cannot produce enough electricity for these applications. But the hydrogen is there, so that will be the solution. And the reason is that hydrogen, you have a much higher energy density. So basically, the weight per the unit of gasoline that you have, or the gas, the energy source is much higher with hydrogen. And then to the technological point of view, in the heart of this system, there is a fuel cell. Here is a PEM, polyelectrolyte membrane fuel cell. which basically takes in hydrogen and oxygen, and out comes electricity and water. And in the heart of that system, you have a membrane that's there in the middle, where all the magic happens. And now I would love to tell you actually that what is the problem and how we are going to solve that problem. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do it because we are just filing 2 patent applications on this, so I'm not going into the technical details. I will just say that yes, there is something magical in these membranes, why the HYGRON membranes will make this business viable. But what I can tell you are, let's say, 3 major benefits of this. So the first one of being that when you use HYGRON membranes, you can save or lower the hydrogen consumption up to 5%. Doesn't sound so big number, but if you think about that, you are driving truck every day, so 5% is a significant number. The other one is that the current membranes are based on this PFAS, so these forever chemicals. We are not using them. We don't have any toxic chemicals. We are only using natural materials. And the third one is that we have a highly scalable production process. Okay, everyone can say that what is highly scalable, but we are coming from the paper-making industry. So there you basically, the production is measured like that the single machine produces hundreds of thousands of tons of material in a year. So basically they are several meters wide, run up to 1,000 meters per minute. So this is the industry where we are coming from. And our estimates show that actually with a single production unit, we could produce currently the global demand of these membranes. You may argue that is it worthwhile to put up a single production unit or several, so I mean that we need to see. And if you look at the markets, so currently the markets, this shows the polyelectrolyte fuel cell market. Currently we are around 6 billion in the market size. And these membranes, which you are using there, it's about 400 million business currently. And that's dominated by a single material. There is only one single material in the world which is used in all these cells. And the growth is there, so it's estimated that the market potential for these membranes will be around 4 billion in about 10 years. And what we with HYGRON membranes, we will disrupt the market with this new material to provide our superior membranes. And the we here is our team. So Ayus and Rajes, I would ask you to come also here at the end. So we have a 4th person here, Vinay. So I mentioned that there is something more important than we are all membrane lovers, but also kids. And Vinay just got his first baby last week, so he is now there at home, but soon will join us. But basically our team, these guys, Vinay, Ayus, Rajes, they have been working together about 8 years already on technologies to solve this one. I just had the privilege to join there, to start to work with them like 4 years ago, and they really have the top-notch expertise in the world how these membranes will be made. And I'm there to support the commercialization. So I have spent the last 15 years of, let's say, commercializing similar technologies to international companies. We are just in the beginning of our journey. So now we are starting our customer discovery to see that what are the challenges and opportunities and hear the feedback from the customers to evaluate the performance with them. But we will change the name of the game with these membranes in this transportation business. And now we seek good conversations with the fuel cell stakeholders, so basically everyone who is operating in the companies in here, and also with the investors. So I would like just to thank you, and I'm open for questions. And Rajes and Ayus, please come here.
All right, so yeah, you mentioned that the single production unit could serve the whole market. So what will be the capex of that production unit, and what type of revenues you could?
So that we need to calculate in a more detail, but actually the capex compared to the, let's say, the production is not very high. It's actually that because these membranes are very high value products. So depending a little bit on the application, it ranges from 50 euros up to, let's say, 300 euros per square meter of a membrane. So you can think of like, you don't need a huge production unit, actually. And that's the beauty of this. Yes.
Maybe I can add one more point, that you don't need to start from scratch. So this technology is built on infrastructure that's already existing in the paper industry. So when you are setting up the new unit, you don't need to start from scratch. The engineering, for example, those kind of things already exist, and you might be able to actually retrofit an existing machine from the industry.
Okay, yep, that's great. How about then the actual product and how to like validate that it's like meeting all the customer expectations? How long do you expect that will take, and what are kind of the main issues that you need to solve still?
Yeah, I think that's the main question. I would that first we need to get contact to these customers and hear that what we don't know at the moment. Because I mean the questions that we have already heard, we have the, let's say, good performance, we have the fuel cell compatibility, those we have tested, but now we need the customer feedback. And I would say that will take something like a year to get like all the pieces in place.
Thank you for your presentation. I think my sound is quite okay. The hydrogen fuel cells, I think, seems to be quite green, but I think the production of the hydrogen is very important in that matter. So, because we have gray hydrogen production right now, and it has a big kind of carbon emissions. So maybe by using hydrogen right now, which is, I think, 90% of the market is gray, it's like to have a diesel electric engine back of the Tesla cars. So how do you see the future of the production of the hydrogen? Because if we want to have a totally green fuel cells and energy, we have to have the green hydrogen production as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the entire hydrogen economy's future lies on the production of green hydrogen. I mean, if you don't have green hydrogen, the entire concept doesn't fly. And of course, I think that at this point, when we are starting to have a lot of excess and cheap electricity in the market, there is now the outlook for making green hydrogen in larger capacity over the next decade or even coming several decades. And this is where the utilization of the hydrogen will also increase. And that's, I think we are at the right time starting this, because now the market is getting more and more ripe for fuel cells to be mainstream.
Do you see yourselves only producing from membranes and selling to maybe PEM makers, or do you want to build the whole fuel cells and sell to different use cases and industries? I'm just curious how you imagine the business evolving.
Can I take this one? Yeah. So the product roadmap that we have right now is that we are going to be a membrane manufacturer in this value chain. But in the roadmap, we have the similar membranes made on similar IP, but serving different industrial sectors away from hydrogen. But for example, in the construction sector. So mostly in energy recovery, that would be the main one. And then some use cases also in the industrial gas separation, for example.
Maybe a commercial question then related to what you just said, then your go-to-market in the hydrogen space relies on the battery makers as well, the fuel cell makers.
Yes.
Actually, my question also relates to this one, because that's about partnerships you've been thinking about. Because you guys are so deep into value chain, you know, and if the fuel cell manufacturers come to you and buy just the material, they have very cruel, this kind of sourcing people who, you know, scrutinize you guys and your margins very low. So that's why the venture capitalists, like I try to be here, think about how you could become big, really big. So that's why I was more thinking about how to make partnerships with the transport industry and who would push downwards into value chain that, hey, take from these guys. So Any thoughts about this?
Yeah, you hit exactly the point. So I think that although the final customers for us will be the ones who buy the membranes, I would see that our, let's say, first customers that we are going to contact will be on the system level, who are actually designing these and see the fuel value of the membranes, not only, let's say, those ones who make these units.
Okay, good that you've been thinking about that, but I would urge you to really be active on that domain.
Yes, and if anyone here has a good contacts with whom we can talk to, I would be really keen on hearing those.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
When we start thinking about the advantages of this technology, of course it goes into the fuel cells, and that would be our first immediate customers.
Yeah.
But the people who would be reaping the benefits are the end users. Yeah. So we have been discussing as well to go through them and then try to convince them to be on board so that they can push the adaptation of the membranes.
And those guys may have their corporate VC departments also to be in this financial round, possibly.
Yes. For example, some of the big names are like for Daimler trucks. Yep. They are not making fuel cells, but they have their own supply chain. So if you go to them, it would be a better entry.
Yep.
Great. Thank you very much. So that was the latest comer in the team or in the incubator 2 months in. Next, we're moving away from hydrogen to a team that transforms pollution to sustainable fuels to power up the future. So Ami Rubenstein here presenting Calciner.
Thank you very much, Lotta. And first of all, I want to compliment all the teams before us. I think you're doing an awesome job to really live up to what Lotta said was the purpose of the LaunchPad, to solve the world's largest problems. And if we look at our Calciner project, we're looking at this solution from a fairly simple point of view to a complex problem. And as we have been discussing, and almost all of the teams have been dealing with the problem of carbon dioxide. And our solution is fairly simple. To help alleviate the world's carbon dioxide problem by converting it into carbon monoxide, which is one of the most efficient fuel sources that is completely clean. And when we talk about doing business with this model of converting carbon dioxide into carbon monoxide, we have broken it down into a number of layers. So if we talk about the value creation and profitability on one of the axes and time on the other axis, if we are looking at the end game where we want to be 5 to 10 years from now, it is in helping convert carbon dioxide into carbon monoxide into methanol production. And the value that we can create in there is reduced emissions compared to current models, and we can also decrease the conversion cost of carbon dioxide into methanol by 20% by doing the conversion into carbon monoxide first. But in order for us to get to that business, there needs to be established good carbon dioxide capturing methods in place. As we all know, there are a lot of projects ongoing right now that are focusing on carbon dioxide capture, but actual commercial sites are still very scarce. And the other thing we need to have is to have those methanol production facilities in place. And once again, we know that there are a lot of projects and a lot of different players working on this, but a lot of those projects are being delayed because there are not kind of the good economic reality in place yet. And we believe that we can help by bringing this conversion to carbon monoxide first and then converting it into methanol. But already within the next 24 to 48 months, what we can do is we can take captured carbon dioxide on any commercial production site, and we can convert that carbon dioxide into carbon monoxide and then use it as a fuel gas in the production's own use. So we turn it into fuel into their own project which they can get at a lower cost than their current fuel, and at the same time they are reducing their carbon dioxide emissions through our means and methods. Which then means that in addition to reduced emissions, they'll get sustainable clean fuel and cost reduction. And then even today, we could use the following method, which is to take flue gas from any production site. So the direct emissions coming out of the pipe at any given production site. Take that flue gas, convert the carbon dioxide within that flue gas into carbon monoxide, and then feed it back as a fuel back into the process of that particular site, which once again will lead into reduced emissions and sustainable clean fuel, and it will lead to significant cost reduction over time. And why we're seeing over time in here is that once the emission costs are getting higher, when the carbon credits become more valuable, then you will already be able to make good savings through this method. And all of these three different methods are going to require both end customers who are giving us their site and who are buying the carbon monoxide from us once we've done the conversion, and it's going to require systems and equipment partners. And for all of these three different models, we already have ongoing discussions with both the end customers and the systems partners. And we believe that by the time we will start to work on our spin-off during the next spring, we will have letters of intent and concrete cases for all of these different steps. If we look at the roadmap for the next 3 years, currently we're working on the business model, business plan, and value proposition, and calculating the actual business cases for all those different models that we showed up there. In the beginning of next year, we will make our first demo site selection, where we will start putting together our first commercial site together with a customer. We'll be working on our fundraising and operational prep. And then during the second half of next year, we will complete our research to business project, go through the spin out, and then start with our commercial launch. The current team is 5 members strong. I am responsible for the commercial development. Then we have here Sam Savuari, Emeli Tsupari, and Esko Salo, who will be happy to discuss with you after this event as well. So that's what we wanted to tell you about Calciner for now, and I want to thank you, and I'll open the floor for questions, and I would ask Emeli to join me up front here as well if we happen to get some technical questions that go above my pay grade. So thank you very much.
I think this must not be unique idea in the world to do this kind of conversion. So why you guys?
Well, first of all, we have patents pending on a majority of the technology that we are going to be utilizing in here. So patent protection is going to be one of the answers. The second answer is going to be the fact that even though the solution itself is simple, technically it's not very easy to do. So in essence, we have been developing this for a long time, and we are very far in our technology, which means that even if someone would want to do what we are doing, it would take them years to catch up. So I think we have both the patent protection coming up, and then also the technology advantage of where we are currently.
What are the characteristics of your ideal customers, like both for the demo side and then like maybe later on, like what is really the dream use case where you will use this, and how much value can you deliver to the customers?
I think the ICP is different for all the different cases. So when we are talking about the end game, so there it's going to be a combination of a customer who's really good at doing the carbon capture. So as long as they're capturing their CO2, what they are doing, whether they are producing cement or they're producing pulp and paper, doesn't matter to us. As long as we get the captured CO2, there are a lot of different customer profiles that fit us. The really important part in that sense is that they are open to having the methanol production plant within their site, and they have the partnership in there. What we can then do is to come in the middle and provide the additional value of the carbon monoxide conversion. Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks. Two more optimal things for optimal customer is the good grid connection, that they can increase electricity consumption by, let's say, 5 or 10 megawatts easily. Sometimes grid connection is limiting. And important thing is also quite expensive existing fuel, because we want to replace their existing fuel use. So the more expensive the fuel is, the better the case for us.
Absolutely, and without going into too much detail, essentially, if you want to do methanol production on site, you need the good grid connection anyway, and we're actually going to be decreasing the load, not increasing the load in that situation, but it is absolutely a necessity. Then if we go to the second case, the second thing that Emily was saying, so if we take captured carbon dioxide and we convert it into the fuel into their own process, that's where the higher their current fuel price is, the more room there is for us to maneuver. And then when we talk about the first case there, the ICP is such that when we take flue gas and convert it into fuel into their process, then we usually won't be able to replace all of their fuel consumption, because there are still going to be some contaminants in taking the flue gas and converting it into fuel. So there, if they have setups where they can have additional routes of getting the fuel in, then that will enable our solution in the best possible way. And for example, in the cement industry, there are multiple examples of that.
And the feed that you are taking into the process, does it have to be like a pure CO2, or can it have like a lot of impurities and?
Well, essentially, if we take flue gas directly from their emissions, it's not going to be pure by any means. For the second and third step, the optimal is that we get as pure carbon dioxide as possible, but it doesn't have to be pure, especially in the second case where we convert it into fuel for the site itself.
How unique position you intend to have in the marketplace after a couple of years when you have done all of this? Are there competition building up, or will you have unique position? And if you think you will have, could that lead to a new type of business models that you would not become like hardware seller selling these big boxes, but you would be like a energy company selling energy, whatever?
Yeah, so a really good question, and I would say that yes, we believe we can be in a unique position. At the same time, we're not naive to think that there wouldn't be competing alternatives, not just competing directly with our technology, but as we have heard here already today, there are going to be alternative solutions, how to use hydrogen to begin with and so forth. But I do believe we do have a possibility to be in a unique position, and even in this model, we don't intend to sell boxes. What we're intending to do is to buy either the flue gas or CO2 from our customer and sell back to them the fuel for their process, or then the carbon monoxide for the methanol conversion. So our goal is to be centrally integrated into it, not just providing technology.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And now we get to take a little bit of a deep breath, in the sense that we're moving into something much more graspable, perhaps for most of us. So many of you have probably worn some sort of biopotential signal reader on your body, like for heart rate. So we have Team Mukava here with Teemu Ruotsalainen pitching, telling about their product that is much more comfortable and accurate.
Thank you. Yes, let's start. So, we have developed novel tri-end electrode technology, which will tackle the issues of currently used state-of-the-art electrodes in biopotential body signal measurements, something like ECG, muscle nerve functions, eye movement, and so on. So at this point, there is a strong shift in cardiac monitoring marketing. It's disruption driven by miniaturization of devices, shift towards wearable solutions, patients monitoring done remotely, and aging population. However, the disruption has a bottleneck, and it's electrode used currently. So gel-based electrodes are currently used, and they have a practically their only solution. However, they have serious problems, for example, in data quality. So, and this is not a small problem. One study reveals that 22% of patients in ED are misdiagnosed, and another study shows that 12% of myocardial infarctions are not detected in ED. And in addition to that, gel-based electrodes are uncomfortable. They are bulky, they cause skin irritation and allergic reactions. And together, these issues create major bottleneck in market growth. And we at Mukava has developed a novel tri-electrode technology which will tackle these issues. And here are the Mukava electrode properties in a nutshell. Let's dig into the deeper and start with signal quality. So here in the above, you can see gel-based electrode signal quality, and here is the Mukava signal quality. And our signal quality is has 5 times less noise. And this is a huge step, so let's step back into the study. If myocardial infarction is not detected in ED, patients are 40% more likely to die in hospital. Our electrodes are also have a really outstanding adhesion. They don't get loose in extreme conditions. And this allows more accurate and reliable analysis, which in the end give better patient safety and user experience, as well as direct cost savings. Our electrodes do not also irritate the skin. Here is an example of a 7-day wear test, and above picture is a traditional gel electrodes, and here at the bottom is Mukava electrodes, which barely miss a mark. And this is a significant bottleneck elimination in long-term measurements. The market size is currently in medical and wellness sector a little bit more than 2 billion euros, and it's growing rapidly, whereas our market size is approximately 800 million euros. Our competitors, legacy competitors, are big companies manufacturing electrodes, for example, Ampu, 3M, Philips, and so on. Also, our competitors are low-end gel-based electrodes, mainly produced in India, as well as smart wearables. And you might consider how we are able to compete against the giants or new technology, but the answer is quite simple. So we are the only solution able to answer the needs of market disruption in wearables. Our core technology is protected by patent and patent applications. And we will start our business journey by entering a wellness sector, which we can do rather easy and fast. And meanwhile doing that, we will also prepare for regulatory approval, and we estimate to be able to step in medical sector after 1 year of operation. Currently, our electrodes are tested in 10 companies working in wellness and medical sector, largest one having more than €1 billion annual revenue. Here's our financial prognosis. After 4 operative years, we will be profitable, and currently we are looking €1.2 million for seed funding. We have a really experienced team and strong background in technology development as well as business development, sales and marketing. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks. So the kind of first customers, can you tell a bit more about those, like the use cases and what the volumes they could buy and how to deliver those to them?
Yes, so some of them are from wellness companies which are using, one could say that these electrodes are just something that you have to have, so they are having device companies and not producing electrodes, so that's like pakollinen paha, and they have really serious issues in skin irritation, for example. And other companies are medical companies which are looking for better signal quality. And also in medical side, the skin irritation is a big issue.
And in the wellness, like the first companies that you've been talking with, what the volumes they are using per year?
Around 1 million units per year.
And how are you planning to like produce that amount? Are you building your own production site, or can you use some contract manufacturing?
Yeah, it's a subcontraction. So we are now having discussions with several potential subcontraction, and also currently some of our electrodes which are tested are made in subcontraction. So it's better to use subcontraction. For example, if we enter to medical sector, so we need to have all the certificates on electrodes. Yes, please.
Do you think that your legacy competitors can provide some kind of denoising filters in the future that has that makes them the same accuracy that you have?
Well, usually, or also nowadays, this data is quite heavily sort of manipulated and smoothened up. So the raw signal quality needs to be good. So I think there is no denoising of that. So you just not need to have really good electrodes to have a really good base signal. Yep.
Less noise. How much does that make a difference to the customer use cases? Have you quantified that for the customer point of view?
So better the signal, so better the sort of taking care of patients. So
not MI, not medical. I'm talking wellness because you're talking about wellness as well. So
yeah.
I'm more interested in what you think there.
So wellness currently it's a little bit difficult to say because currently wellness users or companies, they are generating peaks, for example, RR peaks. But if you generate, they are not in the right position. And you have a different actual and generated peaks. So HVR and RV, they are different. So better signal quality, more accurate results.
A little bit stupid question or direct question. Who can make more money in their existing business by applying your technology, your products to their operations? I'm not talking about negative things like negative revenues like savings, because typically that's difficult to sell. But really somebody who can do something in the marketing or market positioning and make more revenues, or the clinics, if the clinics can sell new measurement services or whatever. So how much you've been thinking about this from customer and customer field point of view?
Well, the wellness potential wellness customers, which we have been discussing with, the first expression of what they said, that if they could have a electrode which doesn't irritate the skin, they would pay 10 times more than a traditional electrode. So the problem is big. He came a little bit back, so he said, okay, maybe 5 times, but still that tells about how big this issue is.
Great. Thank you very much, Teemu.
Thank you.
Yes, so we've traditionally had food-related stuff spinning off from VTT and making it into headlines, like maybe Onego Bio earlier this week. We have Happy Plant Protein, presented by Jarek Karlsson here. This team is taking the legumes that we know and other grains, and they have actually a kind of a novel technology that produces neutrally high proteins and high fiber textures in a superior way in comparison to what we have at the market today. So, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone, and happy to present our story, VTT Innovation, which came out by accident 2 years ago. As we know, most of the biggest inventions in almost every business area, like Röntgen or Viagra even, these has been invented by accident. So is this. Happy Plant Protein is presenting a disruptive way to present and produce plant-based protein. We have heard about these sustainability issues already in the food sector as well, because we all know that the current situation is impossible. We need to find more sustainable, more planet-friendly, more better protein solutions for consumers, and also increase the whole value of the ecosystem when we are transforming from the meat and dairy business to plant-based business. 26% of these emissions is caused by food industry currently. The consumers are looking for more healthier and more cheaper also food currently in the market. And the transmission from the meat industry means that the whole ecosystem needs to have more possibilities and more ecological solutions in the future. And there is already a number of innovations in protein production which are coming and which are also offering the alternative protein possibilities. Those are based on bioreactors, cell and legume innovations, but they are all novel food. But in this case, we have an innovation which is possible to use today. So what we are doing, we are changing the way how these proteins are made. This patented technology, which is now patented here in Finland, and the patent is pending all around the world, allows food manufacturers to start producing high-quality protein using existing factory machines, using existing dry extruder machines. And what is the problem? The problem is that currently the traditional high protein components and the production of those components, they require massive investments. Building up a factory which is capable to produce high value protein costs something like 100 million euros. Our technology, which is based on existing food technology, the new factory you can build up in 10 million euros. Also, these isolate factories uses lots of energy, lots of water, and even chemicals producing plant-based protein components. We call them isolates. Our technology, no side streams, no water loss, and 7 times less energy used. It's a one-step production process which produces high protein and high fiber textures. Here's a picture of the production site with the one single run. We get 2 different kind of materials coming out from the extruder machine. The other one is protein and the other one is starch. And as said, it can be used from most of the pulses, most of the legumes, and some of the cereals to produce this. Our company idea is to master the technology. We sell the food industry the right to use our manufacturing process, and we want to develop this method further. We need to understand it more. We need to find the right food solutions, because in the end, the consumers are the ones who are giving this final solution, how fast this transformation happens to plant-based food. So the key benefits for the technology: we have an earth and cost-friendly method, which significantly reduce the production costs and the energy and the water, and gives a sustainable way to produce with existing machinery. The second issue is local production and food safety. So it's very important for the countries also. Not every country, they cannot build up a 100 million factory, or it takes 3 years or 4 years to build it up. So our technology is possible to improve local food safety and giving possibility to ecosystem to start producing high-value protein for food using local raw ingredients and raw materials. And in the end, the quality of the end product is superior. It has a good features, and it can be perfectly used in meat alternative products and other specific applications. We have a very experienced team with good diversity. Pekka, who is our CTO, used to work in VTT. Elli, who has a long background of developing plant-based food products and already have created products for Raisio and VersaFood, and myself as a third founder of the company. What is our situation? We have established the company. We have assigned the core team, and we are just finalizing the seed round, where the leading Nordic Food Tech VC is our lead investor, and we are starting a 200-day R&D project to finalize the methodology and building up the information packages for our customers all around the world. Yes, this is the case. Questions? Thank you.
Thanks. So you had there some feedstocks that you've been already testing with. Can you tell a bit more about those? Like, how far are you in those tests?
So,
and in the future, like, what are the other feedstocks that you're planning to use?
Yeah. So the technology has now been tested here in VTT during these past 2 years because it was invented earlier with the fava bean, yellow pea, oat. So these has been a successful result. And also small tests with red lentils, chickpea. So quite variety of raw ingredients. And we have been tested this as an industrial scale in one of the world's biggest machine manufacturer in Switzerland, and we have made tests with the fava bean and yellow pea. Yeah. And there has also been a few customers already who has invested and found out about the technology, and they are familiar now with the technology. So we are continue the projects with them to get the ingredient, because we can do some fine tuning for the protein ingredient, which is also unique in a way. So we can affect to the color and the structure and the nutrition values of the ingredient. So that's quite interesting for some food companies because they can match the ingredient to their applications, what they are looking for.
So you plan to remain as a technology provider, kind of full stop, right? But I'm still thinking aloud here that could you think about creating a brand which the consumers would recognize? For example, when I go and buy a winter jacket, I want to have this small tag there, Corretex inside.
Yeah.
You know, so
yes, because we are happy plant.
Because that would be power in the marketplace, and the valuation of the company would gradually be much bigger than just technology licensor.
Yeah, my experience from my previous work, we tried to launch one plant-based ingredient globally. We made a small launch, but our competitors are currently like $135 billion companies, $50 billion companies. So they are really, really big companies. So we are inspiring those companies to start using this technology instead of starting competing with them with the ingredient. But that is also one business model, obviously, because we want to understand, we want to master this technology. If we can find really new ingredient, what is worth to like own and start producing. At this moment, we are focusing only for licensing the technology and developing it further.
All right, thanks.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now, last but not least, a shiny jewel in our incubator that has been fully customer paid while they're being in the incubator. This is a very interesting kind of a perspective in that sense. Team that's currently raising funds, HYPERMINE, presented by Markku Makkonen. They are revolutionizing the mining industry with the most advanced material detection system or technology. Please, welcome.
Hopefully the applause will come after the pitch. Okay, so our customers are mining companies. We are helping them to select the materials during their mining 97% more accurately than today. I hopefully will be able to explain you why that is one of the coolest things that we can do at this moment in this world. So this is a future that we believe. I think if I ask you to raise your hand, so who believes that the energy transition will happen, urbanization will continue? Some hands, please. Yes, we do. So is there a problem? There is. This would mean like 5 times more copper than what mankind has mined so far. So it means that something may happen need to happen in this industry, which is like mining. The market problem, how the mining is seeing, is that the minerals and metal demand is like growing. It's like booming for the electrification, but also like growing gradually with basic stuff like iron, etc., so that we can simply have our societies like developing. At the same time, they fully understand that they actually have already mined the easy deposits, so which are like close to surface and full of like valuable stuff. So it's getting harder. And the last thing is that they want to fix is that they are not, of course, at all happy with the result that they are doing for the ecosystem, like the impact for environment. So those are the things that they are working. This sounds tough, but like Lotta said, there fortunately is a customer problem. So one of the top 5 global mining companies approached VTT like 4 years ago with a problem that they actually would like to detect the materials greater while they are mining. Another problem is like they try to buy a solution, so they are like a 50 billion company, so that they have some cash, but they couldn't buy because the technology didn't exist. VTT is a long-term like expert in this like sensing, hyperspectral sensing, etc. So 2 good things came together, and here what we have today. So it's like a working deep tech solution that the mining company has accepted and started to buy. So how does it work? So like we are sending like a broadband, it's like a laser spectroscopy, broadband laser towards rocks, getting reflected and then detected with hyperspectral sensor, then some MLA modeling to kind of give histogram of minerals in that particular part of the kind of rock. That's what we are like giving as a kind of actionable data for the mining, that they can do their selection of minerals not like blindfolded, but with this information. So it means that they can be more accurate. So the change that we are doing here, so let's say that this 3D model that I'm talking, so it's about the size of this building. So huge chunk of material so that they drill holes and analyze, take the samples to the laboratory and make a model so that what might be the mineralogy in this building. And then based on that information, they either chunk it or take it. So it sounds like a coarse thing, but that is the best what the technology has been supporting them so far. What we can do is like we can help them scanning smaller, so like during the run of mine, so like we are like moving the materials and why they are after they exploded the building and started to move them forward, so they can select it more accurately. So now they can have like smaller detection, or let's say decision level. And that brings all simply like meaning that there will be less valuable material in the waste pile and less waste in the process piles. And they will of course only process the good stuff in the upper part. So that is so how does this work practically? So we are helping them to, so that's a customer implementation. So scanning trucks, after they exploded and started to hold, so that can select where this truckload should be taken. Is it like waste or is it the process? Then we can help them in like scanning the mine walls, underground operation, so that before they start to like further kind of mine, so that they know what they are mining, like follow the seabed like they are doing in Canada, or the ancient seabed, I mean. And then the last moment is like checking on the conveyor belt that after the first crusher, so like we can easily detect the kind of rocks which take to further into the process and so on. So I will help you with some numbering here. So like, well, something strange happening with the graphics, but then so like this 10,000 tons. So that's a big chunk of material, and we can help them to select at 300 tons, and that is like 97%. So it's a mere science calculation. It's not a lie, it's not marketing, it's a fact. And what is the benefit for customer? They are making 3 to 10% like more profits. It makes it profitable. They can mine their sites longer. So it means that it's very, very important that they can take everything out from the mine because they can select it more better. They will save energy, acids, water, and in tailings. So this look very strange. Sorry about that. So like okay. So like this is the traction what we got. So like this top 5 company, they started to buy. We have sold just under 1 million like products on top of the development that they paid. And we are expecting more than 2 million next year and then several millions year after that. Sometimes big companies hallucinate. So that there's some fool that makes, like they got money and they start to develop stuff that they don't need. So what we did is like we talked to 8 other large mining companies, and these are really big ones, like really global ones. 7 out of the 8 wanted to have immediately a pilot. Currently, we can only talk to perhaps 2 of them due to the limitations in the company, and this is the reason why we are spinning off now. So we want to start serving the industry. Money-wise, so the value that we are creating to the companies is for this first customer 200 to 600 million every year, and in the growing because the volumes are growing, and in the industry level about 10 to 30 billion every year, more money. That is the customer value, and then for us, so if you do the math in other way around, 5 to 10 million per mine, and there's about 500 to 1,500 mines globally that we could sell. So it means billions that we can start selling the solution, and that will be a mixture of hardware to print to get the footprint, and then the services, etc. later on. We are protected by patents in our corner, so we can detect minerals, whereas the other existing players can take elements. That's not enough. So this mineralogy is needed. This is our team. This is our product working in Brazil, while we are talking. So it's really up and running. And this is what we are asking today. It's our seed round 2.5 million. We got 3/4 committed, and we are looking for 600,000 for somebody of you. This is my action to you. So please raise your hand and invest in HYPERMINE. Michael, would you, if you're still alive here, so my teammate.
You jump through the slides with the team so fast that people don't understand.
Maybe can you tell a bit more about the team? How are you planning to develop it?
Yeah, sorry about that.
What are currently strengths?
Exactly, I carried away, so I lost some time here. Okay, so Michael and Andre are PhDs who have developed the solution. So they master the kind of technology. Michael also has been involved with this lead customer development and talking to other customers. Andre takes care about the production hardware, anything that is needed there. And then my role is I productized some network products with Nokia ramped up mobile systems in my past, and then for 10 years been a startup entrepreneur, serial one, taking some global developments to global scale. So that's a team. We are looking for more persons. We have some person. Selim, raise your hand. We would like to hire him officially. So and I'm looking for persons to kind of strengthen the team.
So what are kind of the main competencies that you're looking for?
Yeah, so of course, we would like to multiply the R&D. So of course that is typical. So we need to have this delivery capability that we can productize also this kind of all the mineralogies and so on. So it's easier for customers to take into use. We also will need to later on sell persons. So currently we've got sales teams. So sales teams here. So multiply the capability to talk with customers. So we will hire persons that can have a dialogue with customer, go through this kind of piloting phase, and then ensure that the business will start rolling. And then after a couple of years, so we will need to establish sites to the main markets, which are in North America, Latin America, Australia. So on top of Finland.
I would have a question, but before that I tell piece of wisdom, or actually joke.
Thank you.
It's about drilling machines. People don't need drilling machines. They need holes. And this way maybe your customers, they don't need your devices. They need mineral, right? So this leads me to think about that, why you want... You should not sell the products at all. And you would have a fee per mineral ton or whatever you've been able to pick up from the junk. And after a couple of years, you know, because you own the products, the devices, after a couple of years, these big companies to come to you with their sourcing people and say that, oh, you guys make too much money, we want to renegotiate the deal. Then you can say, okay, this doesn't work for you. Tomorrow there's a truck taking our devices away. You would have to lead all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So there obviously was a question, but also if I give a comment, so like I think this is like a story like that we need to start with something that customers understand and they can manage, and our evolution will go towards like providing everything as a service, which some of them are already requesting. But on the other hand, they understand, so like introducing like new technologies, it starts with something. So like I fully agree with your view, and I think that I used to manage radio access networks. It's like further few billions a year. So like for sure that is like you create the footprints, you create the brand trust, and little by little people will start to buy bigger chunks. So will the bigger chunk buying happen from HYPERMINE, or will some other company buy HYPERMINE to do the thing? So that we don't know, but what we are pretty sure and convinced that this kind of, let's say, minerals as a service kind of thing, so it's certainly there. Fully agree.
Good, thanks.
Would you, Mihail, like to say something? Make a question, please.
Well, I think that the only reason why we are standing here, and the actual reason, is because we are selling the whole thing. We are not selling the box, but we are selling the box that can detect minerals, and that brings the data into the fleet management system and brings the value. But of course, the development goes step by step. And the biggest problem is to understand actually how much is this optimization of a process, how to price this solution. And that's the idea at the moment. But I've been in this development for 4.5 years, and I can tell you that 4 years ago I was busy about developing the actual laser. 3 years ago we were thinking about how to build the perfect platform. 2 years ago we were thinking how to process the data to give them information about mineralogy. And today we are thinking about how to turn it into the service. So we are on the right road, but you should go through all the steps. Otherwise you are just, talking.
Yep, very good, thanks.
Brilliant. Further, anybody? So, sure.
Yeah, I had a question. Does it work for also kind of the miners, but also demolition companies and the end-of-life materials? For example, bulk waste or so?
Yes, so technically, yes. So like we've selected this mining because it seems that, first of all, it's like 2 trillion every year, the mining companies, and the typical size of a mining company is like tens of billions up to 150 billion a year. And the gravity per each project is about 5 to 10 million for us while we are selling per like mine. So as a kind of starting point, it looks like that we get started quite fast. But I totally agree. So like for this kind of technology that we can detect, so that there are a lot of other applications, and that is like we all also have dreams. So my dream is to kind of build a company that, like we could have this kind of sizable mining business, and we would like to have this kind of, advanced solutions, but not to be happy with that, but create a company that will be able to kind of, let's say, master this kind of detection of materials. So like we could help like sorting the kind of demolition or whatsoever kind of recycling.
We will end up having 2 answers to each question now. So one thing that Markus said during his slides and presentation was that the world gonna need 5 or 6 times more copper in the following years that was mined by mankind so far. And this is very important point to understand. While sorting and demolition are very fancy areas of development and everybody wants to invest there because it sounds very green and nice, the reality is so that you can process and sort all existing copper in the world, and this is still not enough. And this steep corner of growing the demand for copper is so high that the only way to make it happen is to make mining like several times more efficient than it's now. Because we have 2 current problems. Not enough copper basically been mined so far. The quality of deposits is declining rapidly, and at the same time we need more. So the mining is the actually key point, and while many VCs would like to avoid mining, it seems that it's impossible.
right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oops. So, we've kind of made it through the set, you know. It's kind of intensive, but I'm glad to see that I don't see many sleeping yet. What I realize is that what I always forget to do when I forgot to do again. So I'm Lotta Partanen, I head incubation and acceleration at VTT. So it's, you know, time to end the show now, and you're welcome to have drinks and snacks and, you know, talk to the teams now that you've had proper presentations to them and you know, catch up with the acquaintances. Thank you very much.